issue, controversy, change. From the nation's capital, a monitor on the pulse of the republic, a channel for the voice of a people, a vehicle for examining today's events. From the Chamber of Commerce of the United States, an exploration, a venture, an experience, enterprise. This has been a National Chamber Network presentation, furnished by the Chamber of Commerce of the United States, the world's largest federation of businessmen and women, working for a still better America through private enterprise. Issue, controversy, change. From the nation's capital, a monitor on the pulse of the republic, a channel for the voice of a people, a vehicle for examining today's events. From the Chamber of Commerce of the United States, an exploration, a venture, an experience, enterprise. This has been a National Chamber Network presentation, furnished by the Chamber of Commerce of the United States, the world's largest federation of businessmen and women, working for a still better America through private enterprise.
It's 1918, and American business is booming, but mailing procedures are outdated. Every letter still must be stamped by hand. Inventor Arthur Pitney, convinced he can eliminate this bottleneck, develops a machine that actually prints postage. But legal problems delay its acceptance. Then in 1919, Pitney meets Walter Bowes, a dynamic Connecticut manufacturer. Together they head for Washington to demonstrate their postage meter. Congress and the post office are impressed. Within a year, their meter is approved for use nationwide. Since then, the Pitney Bowes mailing machines have saved billions of dollars for businesses and institutions around the world. This has been a presentation of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States in celebration of America's Bicentennial. Pinkerton, Allen, born Glasgow, Scotland. Appointed Chicago's first detective, 1849. Opened his own agency, 1850. Hired the country's first female detective. Civil War agent. Organizer of our Secret Service. Pinkerton men helped tame the West, hounding swindlers, kidnappers, and desperados like Butch Cassidy and Jesse James. Today, Pinkerton's is the largest private security corporation in the world, providing all types of protective services. This has been a presentation of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States in celebration of America's Bicentennial. In 1878, photography was a complicated and messy business, and only for the stout-hearted. But a young bank clerk named George Eastman believed there could be an easier way to take pictures. Experimenting at home, he invented a new kind of film and the simple Kodak camera. By 1900, he introduced the Brownie camera, priced at $1. So simple a child could operate it, and almost anyone could afford it. Today, products from Eastman Kodak affect everyone's life, aiding science and medicine, business and industry through photography. This has been a presentation of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States in celebration of America's Bicentennial. Man has always had to devise ways to preserve his food, whether by smoking, salting, pickling, and eventually canning. But a major breakthrough occurred in Labrador in 1912, when an American scientist named Clarence Birdseye observed that fish frozen in sub-zero weather tasted absolutely fresh when thawed months later. Birdseye labored for years to develop a process that could duplicate the quick freezing of a Labrador winter. By 1924, his process was a commercial success. Birdseye's pioneering efforts helped found the frozen food industry, opened vast new markets for agriculture, and enabled General Foods to bring fresh-tasting fruits and vegetables to dining tables any season, anywhere. This has been a presentation of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States in celebration of America's Bicentennial. For centuries, man created various incredible devices to hoist both himself and his goods up and down. Unfortunately, they all had one thing in common. If the rope broke, goodbye. But in 1854, a man by the name of Elisha G. Otis changed all that in a dramatic demonstration at the Crystal Palace Exposition. Up to the ceiling he went, and then, before a startled crowd, he shouted, "Cut the rope!" His invention worked. Otis had given the world its first safety elevator, and the upward growth of our modern-day cities was assured. This has been a presentation of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States in celebration of America's Bicentennial. The year, 1898. In the barren Utah wastelands, a young engineer named Cowan Jacklin locates what he considers a veritable mountain of ore. But it contains only 2% copper. And in 1898, no one thinks it can be mined profitably. However, Jacklin has some extraordinary new ideas about mining and milling, and he persists. He brings assembly line, mass production techniques to his mountain. The sheer amount of ore handled is without precedent. Jacklin's concepts revolutionized an industry. His mountain became the richest hole in the world, and with less than 1% ore, is still being mined today by Kennecott Copper. This has been a presentation of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States in celebration of America's Bicentennial. By the 1870s, vast numbers of Americans had settled in urban areas far across the continent. The demand for meat in the big cities would soon outstrip the regional supply. But a man by the name of Gustavus F. Swift had a solution: an icebox on wheels. It took him 10 years to get his concept accepted. But by 1880, refrigerator cars were delivering fresh meat and fruit and vegetables all across the land. Swift's pioneering efforts helped change an industry. The business he founded is now a major part of S-Mart, one of the country's largest and most diversified companies. This has been a presentation of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States, in celebration of America's bicentennial. The year is 1946, and as America enjoys a post-war boom, paperwork proliferates as never before. Some days, office workers are swamped with it, but only some days. In Detroit, William Russell Kelly has an idea. Why not send qualified employees from his office to provide on-the-spot help when a firm has a problem, or before it does? It worked. Soon, Kelly Girl was nationwide, then international. William Russell Kelly's pioneering concept helped found an industry, enabling thousands of men and women to earn additional part-time income, and countless businesses to tap vital temporary help precisely when they need it. This has been a presentation of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States in celebration of America's bicentennial. Keeping cool has challenged man's ingenuity throughout the ages. By the early 1900s, huge cooling machines were in a few factories, but the refrigerant they used was toxic and explosive. Then in 1922, Dr. Willis Carrier invited 300 engineers to see his newest invention, a small and safe centrifugal refrigeration machine. Because he wasn't sure anyone would come, he threw in dinner and a boxing match. His demonstration was a success. Carrier's revolutionary invention pioneered modern-day air conditioning, bringing year-round comfort to millions worldwide. This has been a presentation of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States in celebration of America's bicentennial. San Francisco, 1906. A.P. Giannini reaches his little bank as flames spread throughout the city. He has no vault, so he takes the bank's $80,000 back home. Thousands are homeless. The big banks call a month-long holiday. But Giannini, with a couple of planks and a bag of money, reopens. He gives out loans, often on the strength of a man's character alone. People respond. In 6 weeks, deposits exceed withdrawals. A.P. Giannini's spirit and commitment to humanize his business helped build the Bank of America into the largest bank in the United States. This has been a presentation of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States in celebration of America's bicentennial. (1861). Civil war is imminent, and Union leaders badly need the allegiance of the West, particularly California with its gold. But communication across the continent is difficult. Telegraph lines extend to Missouri. After that, there is only the Pony Express. Hiram Sibley, president of Western Union, believes a line to the coast can be built before the outbreak of war, and goes to Lincoln with his plan. Lincoln is skeptical, but 3 months and 20 days later, the transcontinental telegraph line is a reality. Sibley's pioneering spirit continues at Western Union with the most advanced communication systems in the world, including Westar, the nation's first domestic satellite system. This has been a presentation of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States in celebration of America's bicentennial. Throughout the ages, man shaved his whiskers to reflect the prevailing whim of fashion. The razor, however, varied little from its ancient knife-like form. It required a steady hand and constant sharpening. For many men, the day began with a visit to the barber shop, a custom both time-consuming and expensive. Then, in 1895, a traveling salesman named King C. Gillette had an inspiration. A double-edged, disposable blade safety razor. Simple and inexpensive enough for anyone to use. Gillette's razor changed the face of the world. Gillette's ingenuity founded an industry and one of the world's foremost companies. This has been a presentation of the Chamber of Commerce of the United States in celebration of America's bicentennial.